How to use the polar settings in the equations filter in Affinity Photo. Start with a colourful background. Don't go with a solid colour, go with something like a gradient. Perhaps use a combination of gradient layers. Go to the Filters menu and Distort and Equations. At the top of the panel you can see Cartesian and Polar. I'm going to select Polar. So instead of X and Y, you will now have R and T. R and T can generate some very interesting designs, very different from the standard X and Y designs. When using Polar, you can't use X or Y. With this video, I'm going to concentrate more on T. You can put 1 minus R divided by 20, etc. Go to the T field and put 200 times B, where B is a parameter, and then add a plus 10 times the letter A, where A is a parameter, then times sin bracket 10 times C, where C is a parameter, times T, and then bracket. An instant mirror effect. Of course, you can make many variants of that equation. Go to the bottom of the panel and the extend modes. There are a number of options. I'm going to go for mirror. The mirror does not produce a seamless tile. You can see that the colours are different at the edges. You can turn it into a seamless tile by using the result with Cartesian and using 2 times X and 2 times Y and mirror mode. You can move the origin point of the mirror effect. You can just move it around interactively on the screen. You can also go down to the parameters and change the parameter settings for A, B and C, and all kinds of distortions can then be generated. You can go back and vary the equation for the T field. Sadly, the range of functions is fairly limited compared with procedural texture. If you set the C parameter fairly low, you'll notice there's an abrupt line, so I would suggest have the C value fairly high. You can find out more about the functions available to equations via the Affinity Photo help. Go to Filters and Distort and Equations to find all the functions available, such as SQRT and others. Once you're happy with your design, click Apply. As with any filter, you can apply it more than once. Go to the Filters menu and Distort and Equations. You can use the same equation or vary it, up to you. One problem with the filter, there's no presets. If you want to use the same equation again, you either have to retype it or just copy it before you click Apply and paste it in to the T or R field. Hopefully at some point there will be an update that includes presets in the equations panel. You can put R times sin bracket etc, or perhaps use square roots. Or keep it simple, such as R times 20 to zoom in. Of course, when you've got the extend mode set to 0, it doesn't look so effective. Or use R divided by 20. The result doesn't look very good actually. It looks very blurry. If that's what you want, use it. Go to the bottom of the panel and change the extend mode. I'm going to use mirror, but there are many other options. You can interactively move the origin point of the design, so you can move it around to create all kinds of amazing designs. The extend mode of wrap also creates very interesting designs as well. Go to the T field and change the T field to the same equation as before. Enter 200 times, where the times is an asterisk. Then B plus 10 times A times sin and then bracket C times T bracket. A quick workaround is the use of macros and libraries, where you can run the macro over and over again with the same equation. The results can be quite extreme, so I'd suggest changing some of the parameters, perhaps lowering them. Again, you can interactively move the origin point of your design. You can capture the result of all these changes via screen capture tools and use the result in things like After Effects, etc. Keep experimenting with the parameter settings. You can also go to the equation, maybe change the 200 to 100, etc. Once you're happy with your design, you can click Apply. You can then, if you wish, repeat the equation and apply again and again and again. This video has only touched on some of the features of the equations filter. I will be adding more in the future, especially combined with procedural texture. Hope you found this tutorial of interest. I'm always adding new tutorials about Affinity Photo. Please subscribe to the Graphic Extras channel. Please add a comment or two, as well as a dislike or like. Thank you much.